Warning, this conversation contains dragons. Hello, my bookish friends. I am back with another video, and this week we are talking all things fantasy. The reason that we are talking fantasy this week is because I just read this book off of my physical TBR. I don't want to brag, but I read this off of my physical TBR. The TBR is going down. So this is The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith, and I really enjoyed it. And when I finished it, I thought this would be a great jumping off point for me to talk about all things fantasy, because fantasy is my first love when it comes to book genres. I have loved fantasy probably since the womb. I don't know, anytime someone brought up dragons, fairies, I was sold. I was enamored. So now here we are, 26 years later, and I still love fantasy and continue to love fantasy and will always love fantasy probably until the day I die. Although I finished this book, right? I finished this book and I did not realize it was a duology. I didn't. Is the next book out? No. When I found out that this book was a duology and the second book wasn't out yet, I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I was so sad. I'm so sad. And I'm impatient. But I'll be fine. So let's talk the books that made me fall in love with fantasy, shall we? The first is, of course, The Chronicles of Narnia. I don't think any kid who grew up in a Christian home didn't at least listen to the audiobooks when they were a kid. I had them on CD. I listened to them over and over and over again for years. I actually couldn't even tell you the number of times that I've listened to all of these books. Absolutely adored them. I still adore them. I have the box set now, and I'm gonna reread them. And then I'm gonna read them to my kids. And then I'm gonna read them to my grandkids. I love these books so much. They are incredibly well written, very small. Let me show you these books. So these are the versions that I have. I just got them off Amazon, and I don't even know what version they are, but they are small books. I love them. I think they're wonderful, and I will recommend them to anyone. If you have kids and you haven't read them, The Chronicles of Narnia, I highly, highly, highly recommend, because it's just magical and heartwarming and everything. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, moving on. I was also a massive fan of Roald Dahl, specifically the BFG. I don't know what it is about the BFG and Snozcumbers. I still, every time I hear the word Snozcumber, I am like giggling. You know, it's just funny. I love those books. There's something just about like the magic that's happening in the real world around you that I just find fascinating. And that was my first sort of foray into magic, where the magic is occurring in our world. And it was, there's just something so magical about it. And I love it so much. Now, the next story that I fell in love with as a kid, definitely as an older kid, was Inkheart. It's a trilogy. It's Inkheart, Inkspell, Ink Death, and they're by Cornelia Funk. So essentially, the premise of the story is that this girl, Maggie, her dad reads from the book Inkheart. And when he does, an evil ruler like comes out of the page and right into their living room and into the real world. And Maggie needs to sort of fight against this magic from this book and make everything right again. And it is so good. Shout out to the movie with Brendan Fraser. And I'm pretty sure it's Paul Bettany. Oh, the movie was great, not as good as the book, but Inkheart, I highly recommend. The trilogy is incredible. And as a young kid, it was just the idea that magic could come out of a book was incredible to me and just like fed my childhood imagination. And I loved it so much. Now, the older I got, I moved into fantasy that had to do with Greek mythology. And you guessed it, Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson series was it for me. It had, especially my generation, in a choke hold. And that's when I really got into mythology and fiction based on mythology. I still love reading fantasy that has myths in it, whether it be Norse or Greek or Egyptian. And I know that Rick Riordan has an Egyptian one as well. And I'll put that one here too, because I can't remember its name. It's escaping me. But the concept of Percy Jackson is that there's this boy, his name is Percy, and weird things start happening. The older he gets, he doesn't really fit in anywhere. and he goes to a camp called Camp Half-Blood and finds out that he is a demigod. Chaos ensues pretty much, and he goes on all of these quests with his friends, and it's just incredible. And I love these books, and I continue to love these books. I'm watching the TV show that they're making because those sorts of stories that you read as a kid really stick with you, and I absolutely adore them. And now we move into the first dragon. Oh, I love a dragon. Eragon, the Inheritance series by Christopher Paolini. It is my first true fantasy love, and I devoured those books. My sister read them first, and she was the one who was like waiting at the bookstore for them to come out. She's older than me, so when I was old enough to read them, she already had them all. So I was like, amazing, don't mind me, I'm just gonna steal these. And so I have read them all, I don't know how many times. I haven't read the fifth one, but it starts with Eragon, and the premise of the book is that Eragon is this poor boy in this little village who is just trying to help him and his family, his dad and his brother, get by. And he's out in the woods one day, and this weird thing happens, and he finds this rock, what he thinks is a rock. And he thought, amazing, I can sell this rock and make money for my family. He goes to sell the rock, and the merchant says, no, I won't even touch this. You don't know what you have. And he brings it home, and this rock ends up hatching. It ends up being an egg, and it is a dragon. And it just follows this incredible character arc of this boy who grows into a man and his dragon. And I cannot tell you how many times I cried in this book, how many times I laughed in this book. And it's an incredible, epic story, but written in such a way that is very easily digestible. The magic system is not complicated, and you are just immersed into this incredible world with these incredible characters. And I honestly, now that I'm talking about it, I need to reread them again because I just love them so much. From Eragon, I really did get into a dragon fix. So my next ones that I really got into were Talon, the Talon series by Julie Kagawa. And I don't have the first book with me because I loaned it out, but I think there's 4 books in the series. And these books were the first sort of idea that dragons could live in our world. And that just blew my mind. So in the Talon world, the idea is that dragons live amongst us, and dragons are shapeshifters, so they can look like humans. And Ember and her brother Dante are dragons who look like humans, but over centuries, the dragons have been hunted by the Order of St. George and are becoming extinct. So the dragons decided, okay, we're going to shapeshift into humans and try and keep our young safe so that they can grow into adult dragons and we can repopulate, essentially. So Ember and Dante are young dragons who are living in hiding, just trying to be normal kids, but they are controlled by Talon, who want to keep them safe. Then there is Garrett, Xavier, Sebastian. What a name. And he is a soldier with the Order of St. George, and his job is to hunt down dragons in hiding and kill them. And I'm obviously not going to tell you what happens, but Garrett is trying to hunt down Ember, but he obviously can't kill people without knowing for sure that they're dragons, and he is really unsure about Ember. And I won't tell you what happens, but over the course of 4 books, the twists and turns, the politics that exists in this book is really well done. And you just get to fall in love with these characters and the world that they live in. Just seeing them come of age and think for themselves. Oh, it's so good. I highly recommend. And again, they're not difficult reads, so you'll fly through them pretty quickly. And the last sort of foundational book that I read that really solidified my love for fantasy were Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn books. Oh my gosh. When I say that the last book in that series just drove a knife through my heart, it was incredible. I fully got to understand what the term Sanderlanche means, and you will not be disappointed by the Mistborn series. Incredible books, incredible storytelling. They are thick, but I found that the Mistborn series in particular moved very quickly, and highly, highly, highly recommend. I still think about them to this day and am in awe of what Brandon Sanderson is able to do with a paper and a pen. So moving into adulthood, I have fallen in love with so many other fantasy series as well. ACOTAR is so good. I know people are like, it's so basic. It's not though. That series has made so many people fall in love with fantasy and romantasy. And say what you will about its content, but the fact that so many people have fallen in love with this genre because of those books is a feat that no one can take away from Sarah J. Maas. I absolutely adored the first 4 books in the ACOTAR series. A Court of Mist and Fury is one of my favorite fantasy books of all time. Of all time. It's so well done. And listen, A Court of Silver Flames was not for me. I didn't like it. It was so long for no reason. And I just didn't love the storyline or the couple as much as I loved the couple in the first 4. And listen, I'm not a spice for spice sake kind of person. Luckily, the spice in the ACOTAR series is pretty easy to skip through because like nothing important to the plot happens. So you're not gonna be missing much if you just like skip a page and move on with your life. I just love them so much. I think about ACOTAR often, and I have already reread them once. And I will probably reread them again. And I will not stop loving those books. And while I didn't love Crescent City as much, I still haven't read the 3rd book, so maybe the 3rd one redeems itself. But while I didn't love Crescent City as much as I loved ACOTAR, they're still really good. I haven't read Throne of Glass yet. Sue me. But I did get like a massive spoiler about something that happens in the Throne of Glass series. And now I'm like, do I really want to read like 8 books knowing like one of the major plot points? I don't know, maybe. Now, back to Brandon Sanderson. I recently read Tress of the Emerald Sea. Incredible. Think like Princess Bride on a boat. It's Princess Bride-esque. It's Princess Bride in the terms of like the wit that happens in the book. I wouldn't say that like the story follows the same storyline as Princess Bride, but it was really well done. And I love the worlds that Sanderson builds. And it's not that long. Again, I don't have the physical copy because I lent it to my sister, but it's not that long and you just have like a fun old time. And Tress is a girl who lives on an island, and the sea isn't actually made of water, it's made of spores. And her best friend goes missing and she wants to go find them, but no one ever leaves the island. But she's like, I'm leaving this island so that I can go and find my best friend. And you're following her through her adventure to go and try and find her friend sailing the spore seas. And it's just really well done. And it's witty, and I had a good giggle and a good time. Now, Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing is really good. Again, it's really good. I haven't read the last one. I haven't read Onyx Storm. But Fourth Wing in and of itself was so good. Iron Flame, it was fine. But Fourth Wing, if you just want to have a good old dragon time, highly recommend. Highly recommend. It doesn't have to be that deep. That's the thing. Not every fantasy book that you read needs to be the best thing you've ever read. If you have a good time, that's enough, you know? And I had a good time. I flew through that book. Get it? Dragons? Fly? Anyway, it was so much fun. And the relationship was great. And I just love. And if I can have romance in a story, I will take it all day long because I'm a sucker for a love story. And the last book that I will sort of recommend and say that I loved and has really like fueled my love for fantasy is The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song. This is a Mulan retelling, and it's definitely not Disney-esque. There's a second book too, and I'll put that here. I haven't read the second one yet, but this book was incredible. Incredible. First of all, look at that sprayed edge. What do I always say? I'm a sucker for a sprayed edge. And I ate this book up. I loved Mulan. It was one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. And when I saw that this was a like Mulan retelling, like a fantasy Mulan retelling, I was like, sign me up, here for it. Incredible. I highly recommend this book. So in this version, the main character's name is Mei Lin. Her father is an addict and refuses the imperial draft. She is destined to be married, but she finds out that her husband-to-be is a violent, no good, nasty man. And she's like, no, thank you. Not for me. She would literally rather join war than marry this man, if that gives you any indication. And so this is her journey to trying to fit in with the other men who she is not a man, and just trying to get away from what she felt like she was destined for, to have a better life full of adventure and see who she meets along the way, shall we say. Incredible. The magic in this book is not the same as the magic in the Disney Mulan movie. So it just like gripped me from the start and was so good. So highly recommend. I haven't read the second one yet, but highly recommend. Now here are some themes that I love in a fantasy book. I need love in my fantasy, okay? And I know what you're gonna say, but Abby, that's romantasy. I don't care, okay? It doesn't have to always be romantic love either. I love a found family. I love a sibling love. Those are the things that I like, where there's like passion or intense loyalty to one another, and you have this familial love or this romantic love. There has to be some sort of love in the book in order for me to be invested. Otherwise, I'm just sort of like, oh, this is killing me, you know? I also love a magic system. However, my understanding of the magic system cannot be necessary for me to understand and enjoy the book. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have to understand everything to do with alchemy or everything to do with the spells or what they say in order for me to enjoy the story. I'm not that invested, and I will never be that invested because my brain just doesn't work like that. But also give me politics, okay? Give me politics. I need court intrigue. I need traitors and betrayals and secret conversations in a dark alleyway about how to overthrow someone. You know, I love that. I love that. And if there is a tyrant king or queen, because I'm a feminist, I love those. I eat those up. And if we can overthrow an oppressor, incredible. Give it to me all day. I'm also a big fan of a trial. You know, like in The Serpent, is it The Serpent and the Wings of Night? Yeah, The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. Love a trial. I eat those up, but I don't want it to be a game. Although that is technically a game. So I take that back. It can be a game. Now, one of my musts in a fantasy book is please, authors, if any of you are listening to me, please give me a map. And if there are more than like 5 characters that I need to know about, please give me some sort of family tree, lineage, who's related to who. You just in a mind map. Please, my brain is not super detail oriented and I need help. So if you could give that to me, that would be great. And if someone's a queen, but there are other kingdoms and they have other rulers, I need to know who those are separate. I just need a mind map and how everyone's connected. That's what I need. And I will continue to refer back to those because I keep forgetting. Now, here are a couple things that I don't love about fantasy. Why are they so long? Why are they so long? I get it, okay? World building takes a while, but oh my gosh, it's killing me over here. I'm reading like 200 pages about something that happened 1,000 years ago. I'm like, this could have been an email, you know? Like, just give me the bullet point version of the things that I need to know. And one of the other things is like cringy exclamations. Like in ACOTAR, it's like cauldron, help me. Or darn the cauldron or something. I can't remember what it is. But like instead of, or if there's more than one god, they say like, oh my gods. And it just like makes me cringe. But at the same time, if the fantasy book didn't have that, then I'd be kind of disappointed. So kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, authors, for me. But like, don't do it, but please do it. You know what I mean? And also, I don't need this to change because I am fully aware that this is a me problem. I do not know how to pronounce anything. Not a single thing in a fantasy book. And that's okay because it's a different language and I'm very bad at learning other languages. So I just mumble a lot, you know, where it's just like, oh, they traveled on the road from Schnersne to Herberschner. And that's fine for me. But maybe that is also why I struggle to like understand what people are, because I just mumble in my head and then I don't actually know what they are. Well, you can't win them all, you know? And finally, before I sort of let you go back to your regularly scheduled lives, I will give a couple more just like recommendations that have popped into my head just now. The Divine Rivals duology, incredible. I know that some people are like, oh, the second book was like not worth it. I actually found that the second book was better than the first book. So tough it out, because I loved those. Who doesn't love magical letters? If you're not sold, magical letters. If that doesn't sell you, I don't know how to help you. The Serpent and the Wings of Night, that duology was also really good. The One Dark Window duology, which is One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. Incredible. That magic system was one that I had never encountered before. Really unique. And I loved that it was more of a gothic fantasy, and you could just feel that like everything was in shades of gray. Oh, it was, yeah, incredible. So good. Oh, also Red Queen by Vanessa Aveyard. I haven't read the entire series, but the first one is really good, and it's sort of like steampunk-esque. So if you like those sorts of things, I think it's very similar. I haven't read Shadow and Bone, but where like machinery is definitely like a little bit more included in the storyline, in the world building. That was really good too. I've read the first one, I haven't read the second one yet, and I loved that. And I know that people say that Powerless is sort of like a knockoff of Red Queen, so I say just go straight to the source. Red Queen, loved it. No notes from me. Wow, I got through all of my notes very quickly. So thank you so much for just sitting and chatting fantasy with me. If you have any fantasy recommendations, please put them in the comments and let me know, because I'm always looking for things to add to my mental and physical TBR. And if you're enjoying these videos, please like, comment, subscribe, share them with your friends. I'm having a whale of a time doing this, just sitting here chatting books with all of you. So the more the merrier. I will be back next week with another video. Thank you so much for chilling out with me. Until next time, I hope your book is good, and I hope you have unhinged opinions about them. Bye. My mic died. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, I'm too old to be doing that. It was not my thing. Oop. Oh no, my light died. Hold on. Oh, that was a big yawn from the boons. Of the I also love a marriage. I love a marriage. I am married, and I do love my marriage. Two Twisted Crowns. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything.